Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in. And football season is officially here.
Woo! Football!
Week 1 of the 2024 season has concluded. And now it is time for me to give my power rankings heading into week 2 of the season. But without further ado, let's dive into it. Okay, guys, these are my rankings that I had heading into last week. Let's see if teams go up, toe down. So things that happen. Let's get into it. Now, I'm going to do this game by game. I'm not going to do it in team order, so make sure you stay tuned to see where your team is at it. But first, we're going to start off with the Baltimore Ravens versus the Chiefs that opened up Thursday night. For the Chiefs, yeah, Xavier Worthy is that dude. We still got a very solid defense, and even though it fared out better with a football game in general, but until somebody beats the Chiefs, top. For the Ravens, I'm still going to have the Ravens at an A. They played a really solid football game, and if it wasn't for Isaiah Glockley's toe, we may be looking at a whole different ball game or a whole different outcome. So, Lamar played well. Defensively, they played well. And I still think this Baltimore Ravens team is right up there with the Chiefs. Now we're going to go into Friday night, the Green Bay Packers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. I had the Packers at an A tier. I'm going to drop them mainly because of the Jordan Love injury. I think the Jordan Love injury hurts this team a ton. And I hate to even talk positive about the Packers because you guys know Bears fan. But at the end of the day, this Packers team, I think was slated to be a very good team, and with the Jordan Love injury, with Malik Willis coming in, who they just acquired, I can't put them at that same grade at this very moment in time. I actually see what happens without Love. But for the Philadelphia Eagles, I had the Eagles at B. To be honest, we're going to keep them there. I'm going to be honest, I still don't believe a big ton in this defense. They did have some plays, they did make some moments, but I'm not a big-time believer in this defense. Offensively, once they were able to find some rhythm, they got Saquon Barkley involved. He had 3 touchdown night. A.J. Brown had a very good night. Jalen Hurts, outside of the first half where he made some costly mistakes, he got it together. I'm still going to have the Eagles at a B for the moment, but that can change. And starting on Sunday's games, we're going to have the Steelers and the Falcons. The Steelers, I'm going to have the Steelers at a B, mainly because, as much as I love Justin Fields, it didn't really show much to really sway the argument away from Russell Wilson, maybe outside of the fact that he's younger. Defensively, TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, best pass rush duo, I think, in the league. I picked TJ Watt as my defensive player of the year, and I think the Steelers are going to lay their hat on defense. It's interesting to see if this offense can continue to get better game by game, depending on who the quarterback is. But the Atlanta Falcons, I'm still going to have the Falcons at a B, but Kirk Cousins reverted back to some of the older Kirk Cousins where he just kind of much threw the ball out of nowhere. Defensively, the Falcons' defense is still solid to me. Raheem Morris still has this as a solid unit with Jesse Bates, with Justin Simmons, and the back end of that defense. So I still think it's a very good defense. Offensively, I just think they got to correct mistakes, and I think the Falcons will be fine. So I'm going to have them at a B. Next is the Arizona Cardinals versus the Buffalo Bills. Arizona Cardinals, I think, is one of the worst teams in football. Marvin Harrison Jr., slow start. They did keep themselves in the ball game. First dynamic kickoff return for a touchdown, but I just don't think this Cardinals team is very good right now. Kyler, yeah. So, but the Buffalo Bills, I had the Bills at a B. If Josh Allen continues to play like this, MVP level, I'm probably going to have to move the Bills to an A. I didn't pick Josh Allen to win MVP. I picked him the last 2 years, but that would be funny if this is the year he kind of wins it. We've seen what he can do and without Stephon Diggs, even though, like I said, it is against the Cardinals, but If he continues to play at this level, we can see Josh Allen being the MVP. And that defense, it still needs some work. Next, we're going to go to my Chicago Bears versus the Tennessee Titans. I had the Titans at a B. I'm probably going to keep the Titans there. And as for the Bears, I'm keeping the Bears at a B. They're not moving because that offense just looked bad. Titans in the first half offensively look good, but in the second half, they look bad. Both defensive units, I think, played a very good football game. I think the Bears got adjusted late. Titans did early and actually throughout the game because the Bears didn't score on offense. So both defensive units, very good game. The Titans just made a few more mistakes, and the Bears capitalized on those mistakes, whether it's fumbles, block punch, pick six. They capitalized, and the Titans, offensively, I think it still needs a little bit more work. The ground game doing well, and when you're talking about the Titans defense, T'Vondre Sweat, and Jeffrey Simmons just wreaked havoc. Bears offensive line just needs dramatic work at this point, but be patient. Next, we have the Patriots versus the Bengals. I had the Bengals at an S. I am dropping them to an A. There's no way you lose this ball game. They did not play well on either side of the ball, mainly offense. They just did not get things going. The rhythm wasn't there. And I had the Patriots at a D. And for them to come out to beat this Bengals team, I'm moving the Patriots to a C. And I think they made the right moves, starting Jacoby Brissett, kind of still letting Drake May develop. Defensively, they looked like a very good unit. So I think this Patriots team moves up and the Bengals move down. Next, we're going to go to the Houston Texans versus the Colts. I have the Houston Texans at A. This could be a football team I can move up at the moment, but I'm going to keep them there. I love what C.J. Stroud was able to do. Joe Mixon in the running game played very well. Defensively, they played solid, even though the Colts had some big-time plays. I'm going to keep the Colts at C. So, very good game, I think, from both offenses. I think the Texans defense maybe leads, maybe a little, just like an uptick in play. The Colts, Anthony Richardson and Stardom look more like he could be that franchise quarterback for the Colts. So I like where the direction the Colts are going. The Texans came up with the win at the end of the day. I don't think both teams did enough to go up or down. So they both stay where they are. Now we're going to have the Jaguars versus the Dolphins. And I'm keeping it. You know what? I'm going to move the Dolphins to an S for the moment. And as far as the Jaguars go, I had them at B. I'm going to keep them there. I think the Dolphins, especially with this running game, especially with defensively the things that they can do, they've created some turnovers. Tyreek Hill had that explosive play, which is always a threat. I'm going to move the Dolphins to an A for the moment. An S for the moment, and I'm going to keep the Jaguars at B. I still think this Jaguars team is a very sneaky football team, and I think once they start to get things clicking on defense, they could be a very dangerous team. Today's video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. For me, it is very important to have a VPN to protect my online privacy. It'd be very, very creepy if there was someone out there who kept a log of every single thing that you did online. So why let your internet provider really do that to you online? The best thing to do is to get yourself a VPN, and why not go with ExpressVPN, the best VPN available. Personally, I like it for the fact that you can unlock Netflix shows that you do not get in the US market. Now, one show that I've started to get myself into is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You search Brooklyn Nine-Nine in the US, doesn't come up, but you can switch your location to Canada and you can research Brooklyn Nine-Nine again, and bam, it pops up right then and there, and you can catch up on your episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now, if you click the link in the description below, you will get 3 free months of ExpressVPN. Just by clicking the link below and you sign up today, you will get 3 months free of ExpressVPN. All you have to do is click the link down below and you will get ExpressVPN. Now, let's just get back to the video. Next, we're going to go to the Carolina Panthers, which, come on now. Saints. I'm sorry. I'm not going to move the Saints up, mainly because it's against the Panthers. And on top of that, the Panthers, they are just atrociously bad. Atrociously bad. They could possibly have the #1 pick again. And is Bryce Young him? We shall see. I know it's still game one, new offense, so I'm going to give that time to get a bit adjusted. But if it doesn't, is it time for Bryce Young to be done? I know it's too early to be asking that question, but let it go become more weeks and they still play like this? Then we can ask that question. But the Saints, I don't think Derek Carr did anything like extremely impressive. Defensively, I think that's where the Saints are going to lay their hat, and they played a very solid ball game. So I think the Saints are going to stay at a seed, and the Panthers, Lord. Next, we're going to have the Minnesota Vikings against the Giants, and I'm moving the Vikings to a B, and I'm keeping the Giants to a D. I like what Justin Jefferson, I like Sam Darnold's play. Defensively, they got out there and created some turnovers, pick six. And Daniel Jones, I've always said I'm not a believer in Daniel Jones. This game is a bit proven of it. Never been a big believer in Daniel Jones, even throughout the course of that 2019 draft. Just not a believer in him. I'm not. And we've seen Daniel Jones play, and it's just like, can we get any worse? So I think they made the mistake of keeping him and letting go to Saquon Barkley. Next, we're going to have the Vegas Raiders versus the Chargers. I had the Chargers at B, I'm keeping that. And the Raiders, I had them at C, and I'm keeping it there. Close ball game. Gardner Minshew played a little bit better than I expected. They had a little bit of a better offensive game plan than I expected coming from Luke Getsy. The Chargers, J.K. Dobbins in that running game was just absolutely tremendous. Defensively, they were able to get after the quarterback, make some pressures. Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. I think this Chargers team is trending in the right direction. And the Raiders had some questionable play calls, questionable coaching decisions by Antonio Pierce in that ball game. Whether it's punting on fourth down from your own 43, in Chargers territory, questionable decisions. Next, we're going to go to the Denver Broncos versus the Seahawks. The Seahawks, they did impress me a little bit. I'm going to keep them there. And the Denver Broncos, I had the Broncos at C. I'm keeping the Broncos there for now. Bo Nix did show some flashes. I do think this defense, outside of Surtain, it just needs to step up a little bit more. They did do a little bit, but the Seahawks created some turnovers, made some plays. Kenneth Walker, I've always been a fan of what he can do in a running game. Geno Smith starting to look like what he did in 2022. So I'm going to keep the Seahawks at a B and the Broncos at C. Next, we're going to have the Browns versus the Cowboys. I'm moving the Cowboys up to an S tier. To dominate against a top defense like they did the Cleveland Browns, and offensively, they looked very solid. Defensively, they were just able to get out the Deshaun Watson. I think it was like 5 sacks, 6 sacks, create some pressures, create turnovers, and Cowboys are starting to look a real Super Bowl legit contender to me. And the Broncos, and the Browns, I had them at B. I'm moving them down to C. I've questioned Deshaun Watson. He just doesn't look right. He just does not look right. And it started to look like a mistake to give away all those picks, to give away all those assets to get Deshaun Watson. Because either injuries or mental, it's just something is not right with Deshaun Watson. And that defense, it is a little bit banged up. This unit, a little bit banged up, especially on offense with the tackle injuries. But for them to come out and look like that, especially defensively, I'm going to have to put this team down. Next, we're going to have the Washington Commanders versus the Buccaneers. And I had the Washington Commanders to see. I'm going to keep them there. But I do like some things that I've seen in Junior Daniels. Defensively, I still think this team needs more work. But it's still early in the season, so I can still see the trajectory that this team could be. I'm not going to say playoff team at all, but be one of those teams that's kind of right in that X. Once Jaden Daniels, I think, starts to develop, is something there. And then we're going to go to the Buccaneers. I'm going to keep the Buccaneers at B. Baker Mayfield had a very, very productive game one. Defensively, they really got after the quarterback. They really made some things happen. And have I been sleeping on the Bucs? I don't know. It's starting to look impressive. I might be proven wrong by my Bucs opinion. But now we're going to go to the Sunday night contest. We had the Rams versus the Lions. I had the Lions in the S tier. I'm still going to keep them there. I had the Rams at a B team. I'm still going to keep them there. The Lions, defensively, I think they made some plays. And Aiden Hutchinson getting out the quarterback, they made some key stops. Offensively, they were running the football very effectively, especially late, and I think they wore down this Rams defense. And I just think the Lions are still one of the top teams in the league at this point right now. So I'm going to have them kept in an S. And last but not least, we had the Monday Night Football contest between the Jets and the 49ers. I had the Jets in A. I'm going to bring them down. It just did not look good for them defensively, especially when you're talking about one of the better defensive units in the game, and they did not look good at all. It did not look good at all, and it's not like you have a lot of veterans that will transition. You have a lot of players that have been in this defense for a while, and it just did not look good. And for the 49ers, I'm still keeping them as one of the better teams in football. And for them to have this type of a game without CMC, I think it's more of a testament to the way Shanahan can scheme things and keep their players and making good plays. And Jordan Mason had a very good game, spell it in. And defensively, I'm still big on this 49ers as a defensive unit. So they're still one of the top teams in football. But hey, these are my my power rankings for week 2. Leave you guys your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of it? Do you think your team is at the right place? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.